This is the Lamborghini Huracan Sto, and I have been dying to get behind the wheel of one. Although this one isn't stuck with its lowly 631 horsepower. You see, the mad scientists at VF Engineering have bolted an Eaton supercharger to its 5.2-liter V10. The result? 830 horsepower. STO stands for Super Trofeo Omologata, which is a tip of the hat to the fact that this is essentially a Super Trofeo Evo race car for the streets. And you can tell it's a track-focused beast just by looking at it. Every angle is unbelievably aggressive. And honestly, other than the Sesto Elemento, this is the best looking, in my opinion, V10 Lamborghini that they have ever made. The STO is all about lapping the track as fast as possible, hence weight savings being very important. This car is 75% constructed of carbon fiber, and even the windshield was made 30% lighter than the Huracan Performantes to make a slight difference in the car's center of gravity. All told, 2,950 pounds dry, which is 100 pounds lighter than the already impressive Performante. Part of the Huracan STO's weight savings come from the fact that they've developed a really unique hood design that Lamborghini refers to as the Cofango. It's a combination of the Italian words for hood and fender, as it is one giant piece of carbon fiber. This improves aerodynamics and also saves weight. Now, because this is a race car, practicality is pretty much out of the window. There's enough trunk space for a watermelon or a helmet, but I really don't care. Obviously on this car, all the vents and scoops are functional. The vents in the hood help increase frontal downforce, and we've got these massive vents over the front wheels that help reduce the turbulent airflow that's trapped in the wheel wells and also increases downforce. There's also some massive improvements in the brakes. They're actually called CCMR carbon ceramic brakes, which are derived from F1 technology. The only other car I've ever driven with CCMR carbon ceramics was the McLaren Senna, and that was the best braking car I have ever experienced on the track. The STO has one of the most insane aero setups of any vehicle. I mean, look at the size of this massive rear wing. Now, unlike the Performante that had active aero, this is stationary aero with 3 levels of adjustability that are manually done. This car actually produces 926 pounds of downforce at 174 miles an hour. That is impressive. As we move on forward from the rear wing, we get to this unbelievably cool shark fin. This actually increases stability while cornering, and it reduces the yaw rate. It actually gives you literally side force to make sure that you don't snap oversteer. Follow on up, and one of my favorite components of any vehicle, a roof scoop. Now in this case, it doesn't actually ram air directly into the engine. It actually just creates nice cool air around the engine to cool down temperatures. Now, instead of having a heavy glass engine cover, Lamborghini has developed this one piece of carbon fiber that includes the shark fin and the hood. Now to remove it, there's a little clip right there and right here. Now there's a release lever underneath this vent. And if we very carefully pull out this massive piece of carbon fiber, it reveals that glorious engine. Look at this thing. We are behind the wheel of the Huracan Sto now, and it is absolutely insane. Stock, this car makes 630 horsepower and 417 pound-feet of torque. Now, look, I can't call 630 horsepower a small number, but compared to its competition like the 765 LT or even an F8 Tributo, which isn't the full-fledged track-focused version yet, they would absolutely destroy a stock Huracan Sto in a straight line. But if you have an Sto and you take it over to my friends at VF Engineering, they will transform it into a hypercar rivaling beast. Oh my gosh, this thing is fast. One of the biggest differences of the STO versus the Performante is the fact that this is rear-wheel drive. Now, it's kind of interesting that the Huracan Performante was all-wheel drive, and that set the lap record for the Nürburgring. The SVJ was all-wheel drive, that set the lap record again. But Lamborghini's race cars are rear-wheel drive. Well, I'm happy to report the rear-wheel drive setup in this STO is absolutely sublime. It has rear-wheel steering. And the rear wheel steering makes it feel so nimble, it's unbelievable. It feels like no other Lamborghini to drive. The front feels so light on its feet. This car is so nimble and darts from side to side. in a way that you would expect from a McLaren or a Porsche GT2 RS, not necessarily a Lamborghini. They had done such a fantastic job with the handling on this vehicle. Oh, that's a cop. Now, it no longer has Lamborghini dynamic steering. They've actually replaced it with a fixed ratio steering, and honestly, the feel is much better. It doesn't have the level of communication like a Porsche or some of the McLaren LT cars, but you still get a lot more road feel than you're used to in any other Lamborghini. Now, the suspension setup, it rides really firm, and honestly, the second you get behind the wheel, everything feels so tight and aggressive, you instantly know that this car means business. What I love about it, though, is even though it's extremely raw, it still has this unbelievably premium feel to it. In something like a Ford GT, really track-focused car, you hear rocks bouncing against the tub, and honestly, it does sound cool, but for a car that you're actually driving on the road, it feels a little bit like a tin can. This, it's got that track-focused vibe to it. It feels raw, it's emotionally engaging, but there's some solid quality about it that is honestly really impressive. Now, let's talk about the interior, which is gorgeous. The mix of lightweight Alcantara, carbon fiber, and these amazing carbon fiber bucket seats. It really is a beautiful interior. Now, there aren't a lot of differences between an Evo and this in terms of interior details. You got carbon fiber door panels, which look really good and save weight. You also have these red straps for actually opening the door, which look really cool. Nice Alcantara wrapped steering wheel. We've got some open road up ahead. Let's really stretch the legs of this STO. Oh my, it handles like no other Lamborghini. Oh my gosh. And surprisingly, despite it being rear-wheel drive, it gives you so much confidence in the corners because of that downforce. Whew. Oh my gosh, its stability and mechanical grip is actually so impressive. And then you add in the 830 horsepower, and it's almost terrifying to drive in the best way possible. You know, people say older Lamborghinis felt like they were trying to kill you and newer ones are too refined. This is an absolute weapon in an incredible way. Oh my gosh. Now, because I'm stuck behind an incredibly slow moving vehicle, which honestly is a tragedy, I figured it's a good opportunity to talk about what this car is like to drive in a normal environment on the street. So there are 3 different driving modes to choose from. The first one is STO, which is the street setting. The steering's a little bit lighter, the throttle response is a little bit lessened, the shifts are a little bit slower. It's just a more relaxed setting. Then we have Pioggia, which is a wet mode, maximizing traction in the wet, which definitely is ideal for an 830 horsepower rear-wheel drive car. And then we have Trofeo mode, the track-focused, full-fledged race mode, and that's what we're going to put it in right now because I finally have a clear section of road again. Oh my god. Now, what the McLaren and the Ferrari don't have is that soundtrack. That V10, especially coupled with the supercharger, sounds mind-bogglingly good. The STO stock is really loud. Most sports cars honestly are too quiet and require you to immediately put an aftermarket exhaust on it. Not the case with the STO. It's pretty damn loud. But you have that supercharger and this thing absolutely wails. Brake feel is really good. They actually lengthen the pedal throw to give you higher levels of control and modulation. This thing stops so effectively. Now, we've actually got individual brake coolers as well. That combined with the CCMR brakes means reliable stopping time and time again on the racetrack. I am absolutely in love with this car, guys. Oh my god, I think I need one. I think I need one, and I need a VF supercharger on it. You know, the amazing part about these cars is they are bulletproof reliable, and the VF Engineering Supercharger doesn't take away from that reliability whatsoever. I daily drove a Supercharged 2015 Huracan for 30,000 miles, 25,000 of which, or 20,000 of which, had the supercharger on it, and there were no issues whatsoever. The same cannot be said for 99% of 800 plus horsepower cars. and this takes things to a whole nother level. Oh, the STO is just, it's just a blast. Well guys, there you have it. This is without a doubt the best driving road car Lamborghini has ever made. It is unbelievably nimble. It is so raw. It's so emotionally pleasing with that V10. And just the overall experience in the STO is incredible. Sure, the visibility is absolute trash and it's not practical because it doesn't have any sort of front storage space or any storage space behind the seats, but I really don't care. It really is a car that you drive once or twice on the weekend and then you take to the racetrack and have an absolute blast. You can also actually get it with a roll cage and a 4-point harness as well if you do plan on tracking it. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. Special thanks to VF Engineering for letting me drive this car. It truly is a masterpiece and I want one more than anything. See you guys next video.